Okay. I think we're in here. This is kind of nerve-wracking, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Trying to set all this up and make sure everything is good. So I'm getting some errors, so just give me a second. It says, let's see, change the video resolution. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea like what I'm doing. Oh, okay. I think that's it. All right. So hold on, y'all. I might be coming right back. Just 1 second. Well, if I cancel it, will it let me back in this? I don't think it will. So I tried to stream in 4K. It's probably not in 4K. But the whole 720p, 60. Honestly, I have no idea like what I'm doing. Oh, okay. I think that's it. All right. Well, hopefully that sounds somewhat decent. We'll see. Video capture device. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll mute that. All right, that should have got rid of the echo. All right, I'm new to this. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna just hang out here for just a little bit. I know I just start posting it. I'm trying to actually send it out. I don't even know how to check who's viewing it. Oh, okay, I can see it right here. Okay, and I can also see my chat. That's dope. All right. I think that works. Let's see how it sounds now. Honestly, I have no idea. Hopefully that sounds somewhat decent. We'll see. I'm trying to hear if the audio ended up getting fixed. Video capture device. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll mute that. All right, that should have got rid of the echo. Boom. Right, yeah, we in there now. We in there now. All right, so looks good to me. Honestly, I think we're in there. I'm gonna just go ahead and start because yeah, this looks good to me. I gotta fix some stuff later. Let me boost the light over here just a fuzz. All right. Dope. So what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to honestly hop in here and do a quick live video because I was shooting it like literally just now. I was in the studio recording it, and like for some reason I just couldn't get like the same dynamic when I was talking about the rig here, and I really wanted to break it down and talk like exactly why I really love it. I've only had it for about 2 weeks. It's the Flycam Zest with the vista-ii arm and vest, and so far I'm honestly super impressed with it. There's some other stuff that I was supposed to do a review on last year, and then COVID happened, so I'll just do like a quick like kind of review on those and just talk about my experiences with them. I also picked up some new cine glass and shot a whole wedding with it just recently actually, and love these too, so I'll do a little mini review on that. But yeah, I just really wanted to hang out. I got my meal prep right here because your boy trying to eat and get healthy. I'm gonna take a little bite real quick. So this is my first time going live on the channel, obviously. So hopefully, next time I do a little bit more setup and I can actually really do some really cool lighting and have some other stuff other than my family pictures back there, even though, I love my family, but we try to keep it all camera related out here on the YouTube channel. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm looking at this. Okay, stream is healthy. Okay, that's looking good. Yeah. All right, so first and foremost, I want to talk about the IRIX Cine lenses. These have been on my mind for a while, for a few months, to be honest. I've been seeing a few reviews. I forgot the guy's name. I want to call him Matt, but I don't think it was Matt. When this video is uploaded officially to YouTube, I'll tag him in the comments below or leave his channel and stuff like that. But he did a full like product review on these, and I like kept watching. Like every time I'm at the gym on the stair steppers, you just watch YouTube. I don't know if y'all do that, but I do it. And I kept watching his review, and like the more and more I watched it, the more I was like, I really want to buy it. I really wanted to buy it, but you couldn't rent it anywhere, so I had no choice but to, you know, order it and buy it. The reason I wanted a cine lens was because I was using photo lenses, the Sigma Art series to be specific, and mainly with the Ursa. And the big reason that I wanted to switch is that the focus pull, the focus throw, I should say. I would constantly miss focus or just be slightly out of focus. I'm using the Sigma 18-35 right now on the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, ridiculously long name. But I would always miss focus. Like, I would always be slightly out of focus, either, you know, too close or too far. And it was really hard to dial it in. And so the biggest perk and one of the things I wanted was something with a long focus throw. And this one has 180 degrees. Most cine glass does. But another big perk about this, besides it being T1.5, this is the 45 mil T1.5, is that according to IRIX, they're 8K ready, which in my mind, I just took that as being really, really good, sharp glass. And so when I got it, that was the first thing I wanted to do. I put it on the Ursa Mini Pro, and the quality in comparison to my 24-70, I wish I would have done some side-by-side comparisons before I sold that lens, was just mind-blowing. Like, it is crazy sharp, but not like a digital sharp. It's still filmic, but it's crisp. And when you're focusing on your subjects and stuff like that, you're gonna get a really clean image, and then the bokeh, the fall off is just butter. It's amazing. And so that's one of the biggest perks that I like. What I hated about it is that the lens caps are like the cheapest plastic I've ever seen in a lens cap. Like, this is crazy. For the lens to be $1,200, they give you these really bad, poorly made lens caps. And I get it, they're lens caps, but if you happen to drop it, I feel like this lens cap is just gonna shatter. Like, it's gonna break in half, and then that's it. So what I did is I went on eBay and I actually bought some replacement 86 millimeter front caps because the ones that came with it are like rounded. I wish I would have brought it out here to show you. So I need to buy another Canon EF rear cap, but that's the only bad thing about it. Other than that, it's built amazing, 180 degree focus pulls. It has the stepless T-stop, so you can just slowly fade it in. You know, if you're out in the sun and you need to like add in a little bit more light or reduce light, you can slowly change that aperture blade. It's stepless, so it's gonna be nice and smooth like butter, especially for filmmaking. And again, it's just crazy sharp. I will do a different review on this. I just wanted to talk about it because it's all kind of a part of this setup. So I use this mainly, these two lenses mainly with the Ursa and the Pocket. So they're my go-to now, which I love them, but I'll do a more in-depth with some comparison shots and stuff like that, especially from the wedding I just did in Cancun. So that'll come later. But that's the IRIX 45. The one that's on the Ursa is the IRIX 15 mil T2.6. And this one's also a beast. Like, it's wide. It almost reminds me of the Laowa 12 millimeter. I actually had that lens with my Sony. And the biggest thing about that one is that they advertise the zero distortion, like your line stayed straight. And with this one, it does kind of, they don't advertise that, but your line stays straight, but if you're slightly angled, like say if I was at a low angle and I'm pointing up, you can see, it just kind of has like a slight abstract to it, which to me, I like it. It doesn't look bad, but if you're trying to do like real estate or something, which you wouldn't want to do real estate with something this big, or at least I wouldn't, I don't think that'd be the best option. If you're like camera level or eye level with it and you're shooting straight, phenomenal quality. It's you know, you're gonna have vertical lines. There's not a lot of distortion. Very, very, very little vignetting at wide open at T2.6. Very little vignetting, which is another big thing. A lot of wide angle glass, especially at this price point, may have more, you know, vignetting, especially in, you know, when it's wide open. At T2.6 is not a lot. Again, I'll do a more in-depth review on these lenses, but if you take my word for it, it's not a lot. I use it and love it. Filmed, again, a wedding with it and was swapping out between these two lenses. It's crazy wide, but it's so sharp. I mean, like, even if you miss focus, it's still like sharp, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's a 15 millimeter, but you know, there's something about both of these lenses that I really, really love, and I'm so glad I got them. They're only $1,200 a piece, which is crazy for cine glass. It's sharp. With the 45 mil, the focus breathing is like little to none. Like you barely notice it. Honestly, you have to be looking for it in order to see the focus breathing. If you were just, you know, shooting a regular video or something like that, it'll go past you like without even noticing. But if you're like specifically trying to observe focus breathing, you'd see it. But even then, it's very, very slight. The other lens I was comparing these to was the Rehow Cine or the Rehow Sigma 18-35s, where they kind of put it into like a cinema body. Those, in my reviews and the ones that I've seen, have pretty bad focus breathing, and so I was kind of torn from getting that. If anything, I could do the 18-35. That one was pretty nice, but honestly, like having both of these now, I kind of eliminated other than just switching out lenses on the fly. So run and gun setup, which I try to get away from that run and gun, fast-paced, you know, lifestyle, other than, you know, a wedding, obviously. But when you're running two cameras, you got one with the 45 and one with the 15. So there's that. We got some quality, looks awesome. Oh, thanks, Rachel. My wife hopped on here. What are you doing? I'm live, baby. I'm live. I got bored and I was making this YouTube video and just gave up and just decided to come in here and just hop on. The whole gang's here. Keep up the good work, bro. Thank you. All right, so the bread and butter of the Flycam Zest. So initially, let me just talk about how much this thing costs. Originally, I should say, you'd spend about $1,200. I think it's $1,150 the kit. However, I went to Pro-Aim's website, which is the manufacturer. I don't know how I got there. I think they just like did a retargeting ad or something like that after looking it up. But I found this one for $160. It's used. It has one scratch way down here under the monitor mount bracket. Again, you don't notice it. Like I had to like look around to find like where the flaw was when I got it. And then other than that, the case came with what looks like to be some sort of like white paint got splattered on it. So the cases, in my opinion, are irrelevant because once you get it set up like this, you'd have to literally tear it all down, like every piece, the rods, everything will have to come off in order to fit it back in the case. So that's a little redundant. I'm probably gonna just get like a Pelican case that's big enough to slide both components into with the arm and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so initially you would spend about $1,100, we'll call it $1,200 for the Flycam Zest, which is the arm or the actual stabilizer here. And then the vista-ii arm and vest, which goes over and basically supports it. One of the big perks, I hate like turning this way, so I probably should just move this in just a little bit. There we go. All right. So the Flycam Zest, the reason I was looking at a stabilizer in general was these are big cameras. So the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 6K, as well as the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K. They're both big. I never had the intentions to actually rig up the Pocket when I got it, but I wanted to have the ability to fly either camera, and I know the Pockets are somewhat challenging to mount on like a Ronin or something like that until they make something that's wider that could support the body with ease. This was the best option. It was also the cheapest in my opinion. Without the discount, just in general, $1,200 to get a setup like this is like perfect. Another big thing that I love about it is that, let me rotate this a little bit. It has all of your connections in the base and it feeds it through the shaft, comes out the bottom so that your cable management is like really good. I have a little Velcro kind of like tie down here that's holding the excess cables, but initially, you plug in your SDI here that goes into the camera. It feeds it through, and then I plug it, if you can see it down here, the laptop might be covering it, but I plug the SDI into the bottom down there at the bottom that goes into the monitor. The monitor is powered by the V-mount battery, which is also my counterweight on the back. It comes with the monitor mount, the V-mount plate, which is also a dual HDMI splitter, which is another huge, benefit. Again, we're gonna say this arm is only $500 if you bought this by itself. and you get all of these attachments. All of the cables come with it. So it has the SDI to HDMI cables. It comes with the transmitter. It comes with the V-mount plate. It comes with all the 15mm rods to attach it. And then a good stack, probably, I want to say there's like 20 to 30 of the actual counterweights. So it comes with like a good amount of counterweights. If you got a big camera like this, when I first start setting it up, my monitor I have is the Shogun Inferno 7-inch. And then I use the same V-mount battery. I have two of them, the Max Oak. I think these are 190 watt hours, 177 watt hour V-mounts. And so I typically balance mine by just simply moving the V-mount in and out and then leaving the monitor where it's at. And then you raise and lower the actual platform itself to really get the balance. But it comes with everything you need to get up and running with this. The build quality is phenomenal. Again, we're just talking about the arm, or not the arm, but the actual stabilizer. It's only $500, and I think it's $445 to be exact. But the build quality, you would think it costs like $1,500 to $2,000, or even up, you know, towards like the Flycam. I think it's the Devin Graham series, which I think that one's also like $800. But you would think it costs a lot more than what it actually costs. It's very solid. Everything is, you know, metal. There's no plastic on this thing at all. I take that back. Nope, that's metal. Okay, so the little knob, you can't see it down here. Maybe I can pick it up and show you. So the little knob down here, these are plastic. That's literally the only plastic on it. Like I said, it's just built, it's built amazing. Like, I trust putting a $10,000 camera package on here and know that it's gonna, you know, hold it and support it, and, you know, it's not gonna fly off. So that's really what you want when you buy something like this. Look at that shine, a bald head though, you already know. And I got the light right here, hit me. Ball gang. All right, so some other things that I wanna talk about before I talk about like the arm and some of the components there is, it doesn't come with, and I might be overlooking this or trying to figure this out, but I think, so it doesn't come with like a reverse mount so that you can flip the camera and do low angles. You would physically have to take this knob and take this part and actually lower it in order to do it. So I haven't done that because I don't really film a lot of low angle stuff, or I haven't yet. Again, I've only had it 2 weeks, so I'm still practicing and trying to get used to it. And I think I might, since I'm streaming through OBS, I might even be able to show y'all a video that I just did using it, where we live streamed it. But yeah, so other than that, everything is amazing. Like I said, the build quality is great. It does have like your fine-tuned knobs up here. So if you are slightly off balance, you could use this to, you know, kind of adjust the left and right of the platform. What I don't like is that in order to go back and forth, you actually have to use the actual torque key, undo it, and it's not like a micro adjustment. It's like almost like maybe an 1/8 inch turn every time you turn it. So it has the knob on this side. Let me see if I can flip this around and show you. Probably should have just picked that up, would have been a lot easier. But so it has a knob on this side, but it's locked because of that torque key. So you have to loosen the torque key and then rotate this, and when you rotate it, it's like an 1/8 inch turn every time. So like, you really gotta move slow with it. I wish it was more like this, where it's like a fine tune, where you could like, you spin it just a little bit and it actually shifts very, very subtle. But that's not the case. Once you get it balanced, I use a Manfrotto 504 plate. I put a quick release plate on top of this plate. So when I first mount the camera, I essentially just get it to keep from going back and forth. And I get it as close as possible so I don't have to mess with this one too much. And then from there, we adjust left and right. So yeah, I'm gonna flip this back around. You know, one thing, I didn't even check to see if I'm in focus. I hope I'm in focus. I should be. We should be good. I feel like somebody would have said something if I was out of focus by now. All right, so now we'll talk about kind of what my camera package is that's up here, which is another thing. I was supposed to make a YouTube video last year. If y'all been following me on Instagram, I bought the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro last June, and I originally ordered it. I did a full unboxing, and the first one that I got showed up dead. Like, everything was put together and the LCD was like blacked out. It wouldn't cut on. Like the camera was on, you could hear the fans and stuff moving, but the actual monitor was broke. So that was a bummer. When I reordered it and got the new one, my spirits were just kind of low, and I just wanted to hurry up and get it together to make sure that it worked, and it did. So, you know, no hate there. It was a bad experience, but I never made a video about why I got this and what kind of pushed me to it. And so I know I'm drifting off topic a little bit, but like I said, this is just camera gear and chill. So y'all just listen and just kind of enjoy it, I guess. I don't know. I ain't really got a DJ voice, so it is what it is. But I got the Blackmagic because, one, I film a lot of weddings and I was getting frustrated. I had an A7 III. I had, I think, 2 of them at the time. No, I had an A7 III and a Sony FS5. And I was used to using the FS5 because it offered 10-bit. Obviously the Sony A7 III was just 8-bit. Once I got good at color grading, I realized that I hated 8-bit. Like, I absolutely hate 8-bit. There's just not a lot of depth. There's not a lot of information that you can do and pull those colors. And so the more that I started color grading my wedding films and the more practice I started getting, the more I realized I needed something that was at least 10-bit at minimum. It didn't necessarily have to be raw, like Blackmagic RAW or anything, but I wanted something that offered better colors. I wanted something that had better dynamic range, and then I wanted to replace my FS5, which was my quote-unquote cinema camera then. So that's where this one came up. I was this close to getting the FX9. Then I did the comparisons. I've always been a Blackmagic fan. I've got, I want to say, 3 friends that have Blackmagic that stand behind it, love it, absolutely. And so after seeing like what they did and really asking questions, you get so much more camera for so much less money. And it's crazy that they're not really like supported by a lot of like companies like Adamus, for example. There's no Blackmagic setting inside the monitor. So there's no camera control or anything like that, which I think is a drawback, but it's amazing. B-RAW is amazing. The 12-bit RAW is amazing. The different flavors, you know, you can go from 3:1 all the way up to 12:1 is amazing. Gen 4, Gen 5, they give you basically every new feature that comes out. Like when Gen 5 dropped with the Ursa 12K last year, we got an update to, well, it was essentially in DaVinci, but you're now able to convert your Gen 4 colors to your Gen 5. So Blackmagic, they're not trying to like get over on you and take every dollar like, you know, other brands out there, Apple. But they, you know, they want to take care of their customers. They do a lot. Their cameras, their color science. Gen 5, to me, the best color science. Like, it's crazy. Even if you just apply the Blackmagic correction LUT from Gen 5 to Rec 709, it just blows any Sony footage that I've seen or shot with out of the water. Like, it's amazing just straight out of the camera what these cameras are capable of. So pairing this one with the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro, I'm sorry, that's an old habit. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. I just got that one in last Friday. Haven't shot anything with it yet. Literally, there was some tests about the color fringing or color shift with the ND filters. I did that. That was it. So I haven't shot anything with it, but I'm excited to use it because I know they'll pair nicely. That was one of the biggest issues I had, is I would film a wedding with this camera and an A7 III, and then almost have to reduce the quality or the output of the colors in this to match the A7 III because I couldn't push the A7 III colors because it was 8-bit. So yeah, I'm talking, boy. I was kind of nervous at first, but I can't wait to be able to use your live stream feature at my wedding, by the way. This looks so good, next level stuff. Thank you, thank you. Speaking of that, let me see, let me hit up a couple people and let them know that we are live. And real quick, just a quick little intermission. I should have did this in the beginning, I guess, huh? This is the first time. Next time, it was super impromptu too. Like I didn't plan to go live right now. It just kind of happened. But next time, I'll make sure that I do a better job at, you know, preparing and getting it all together. Plus, my wife and my daughter aren't here. My daughter would be running around the place. There's too many cables and stuff, you know, so she'd be a little headache right now. All right, so The next thing I want to talk about real quick before I put this bad boy on and kind of talk about the arm and vest is the KMTV Crystal 5, which is the wireless transmitter that these little antennas here are. I can't really take it off because it's balanced, otherwise the camera will get kind of top heavy. But let's see here. So essentially, it has a very low latency. They claim that it's 100 milliseconds. It has really decent range. I haven't tested the range. I believe they said 450 feet. I'm like, don't quote me on any of this. I'm trying to like remember what I read already. But I used it on an actual shoot for the very first time during a live stream last week for a dance studio. And we had to pull focus manually because again, I was running on this. So I had a focus puller pulling focus using their KMTV Astro 5 or Astro, just Astro, yeah. So he was pulling focus that way, and I was able to, essentially just worry about filming and getting the shot, and he was pulling focus. And from what I could tell, and I asked him for his honest feedback, it was flawless. It held up amazing. The 100 milliseconds wasn't too bad. We were in a room that was probably, I'd say 30 feet by, I'd say probably 40 by 40 maybe. It wasn't too bad. It was a pretty decent sized room. But again, I was using the entire rig with the follow focus up here at the top. And being able to have the wireless transmission directly from this is clutch because you pretty much need a focus puller unless you're gonna do the whole, focus ahead of time and then keep the same distance, which isn't ever the safe way to do it because all it takes is one extra step on your part or the talent's part, and then the shot's out of focus. So we had a focus puller, worked amazing. This unit, I think with the follow focus, comes in at $700. They sent me this last year. I was supposed to do a review again. I've been slacking so bad, but I was supposed to do a review on it last year, and it's a really good follow focus and wireless transmitter. This is the first one that I've had, so I can't really attest to like the Hollyland series or some of the other brands that are like low budget options other than the Teradek, or that I guess are cheaper than the Teradek since that one's industry standard. But from what I use it for, worked amazing. I loved it. It allowed us to do exactly what we needed, which was wireless transmit the feed, pull focus, and we were actually live streaming at the same time. So we had to be like pretty much on point with it. So there was no big room or margin for error. Man, I feel like this works so much better. I might start doing all of my product reviews, just like setting up in the living room like this. All right, so other than that, now we talked about the KMTV stuff, the lenses, my chicken over here going cold, but it's okay. Let me set this over here. We'll eat that later. So back to the Vista-ii and the Flycam Zest. Leave that bad boy there. So we haven't talked about the arm yet, which is the most impressive part of the whole setup to me. So the arm, it includes both springs for light cameras and heavy cameras. So the blue ones are for the lighter payloads, and then the red ones, which I already have installed, are for the heavier payloads. It supports up to 33 pounds. I haven't tested it. I don't even know how much my live stream rig weighed. If I had to guess, it was probably only like, I'd say right at 20 pounds. It wasn't more than that. I used the 95 watt-hour V-mounts to keep the top pretty light, as light as possible. But it held it amazing. One good thing about the arm, just like most of these sort of Flycam vests and arms, is that you do get the tension knob so that you can adjust how it reacts when you walk, kind of like that up and down, that bobble or whatever. So essentially you have knobs here that you can screw down to loosen or tighten based on the payload of your camera. And basically it essentially keeps it in its holding position. So wherever you want that. I kept it pretty loose since it was heavy. And as I walked, you could see the arm literally going like this, and the camera is just like stable as possible. It was like trippy to watch because like it's a lot of motion on the right side of my body, but then the camera is just like fixed, like floating in midair. It was dope. But the arm, absolutely love the build quality. Again, I'm gonna keep raving about the build quality because I just didn't expect it to be this nice. I had no expectations at all. I didn't know if it was gonna be great, if I was gonna like it a little bit, but still send it back, or if it would be worth it to keep for the long haul. And again, you know, the vista-ii arm and vest comes in at $750, and it is built like a tank. You would think you spent a lot more than $750 for the arm and the vest. One gripe about the vest though, since we did bring it up, the padding on the vest to me could be better. It's I would say it's probably a C at best. So we ran with it last Friday for an hour and a half. That's my dog, if you hear him, Blue Kennel. So we ran with this on a live stream for an hour and a half, and after probably the first 45 minutes, I immediately started feeling like my shoulders. It was like, it almost felt like the pad had completely wore off. Like it was just nothing but strap digging into my shoulders. So the next time I run with it, especially if it's gonna be long term, I'm gonna figure out a way to just get my own, you know, sort of padding, or like wrap some towels around it just to add a little bit more cushion. Cause to me, oh, sorry, I just hit the mic. To me, that's the cheapest part of the whole entire kit, is the pad. I feel like that should be a lot better, considering it's gonna be you're obviously using it to support heavy cameras. And most of the time when you're using a Steadicam, it's not for like one shot. You're gonna be using it for at least an hour, I would say. So wearing it and having this much weight over an hour and a half was taxing on my body. My shoulders felt it the worst, my back not so much. It does come with like a rear pad, which I have clipped here in the bottom. So it does come with like this rear pad that goes, it actually sits here on you, and then this part stops about here, and then the straps go over the shoulders, and then this is the front here. So it does feel decent on the lower back. My lower back wasn't as bad as my shoulders. I just wish the pads were thicker, or like some sort of memory foam. But I guess that's why like Steadicam, the actual Steadicams are so much more expensive, because they are better, they have better padding and just better things like that in general. If this was the only bad thing about it, which I think it is the only bad thing about the entire setup, I can live with that, because the price, again, we'll just say $1,200 for all of it, is unbeatable for what you get. And the only thing you have to deal with is poor padding. That can easily be fixed with a trip to an arts and crafts or, you know, home store, get some, you know, furniture padding and do some things yourself, which I plan to do, probably make a video on it, and just Velcro it to the bottom, the underside here, and boom, problem solved. I got more pad, so not a big deal. So back to the arm real quick, and then I'll probably strap up and put this thing on, just because. So, sorry about that. So another thing about the arm is, again, it's made out of all metal. I don't think there's any plastic on this. You have the pins that slide in. It comes with, again, the springs. It comes with all of the, what is those things called? Like there's these screws that screw into the bottom part of the plate. All of that, I mean, everything you need to get it running, it comes with it. It comes with all your Allen keys. It comes with the case, obviously. I still use the case when I take the arm off, just to keep the arm, it's lubricated. So just to keep the arm, you know, away from like random elements, you know, water, stuff like that. I keep it in the case. The vest and the actual Steadicam itself, or the Flycam or the stabilizer, whatever you want to call it. I mentioned this a little bit ago. Pointless to put back in the case because you got to tear it all down. So that's, oh, let me go back on here. So that's basically it. Honestly, that's the setup. The Zest comes with all your cables, your SDI cables. I think it comes with 2 or 3 HDMI cables. It comes with all of your different torque keys, which I like these because they're really thick, and they're almost like, you know, big screwdriver handles. So when you got to get in there and actually tighten it down, you can do that. I think that's it. I think I talked about everything that I was trying to make a YouTube video on. So I guess, honestly, I'll probably just put this thing on, which is hilarious because I have it strapped already, like pretty tight. So trying to get all of the little access points is kind of funny. So don't come at me in the comments, y'all. Well, we're gonna try it. I don't even know. Sorry if y'all hear a bunch of like padding noise, because the mic is clipped to my shirt, so. Yeah, I know. This is just the way that I put it on, because it's the only way I know how to put it on. All right, this is the funny part. The T-Rex arms, bro. There we go. Again, I have it pretty tight already from a previous shoot, so it is what it is. Now, when you first suit up with this thing, it honestly feels really good. Like, man, I tell y'all, this is, I know I probably look like a fool. I can't wait to wash this back. There we go. All right, whew. All right, so now the vest is on there. I actually didn't talk about this. I wonder if I can lay that flatter. Yeah, there we go. All right, so if you're tall, no matter if you're tall or short, so, and I just dropped the screw, but that's okay. All right, so no matter if you're tall or short, you've got a lot of adjusting options. So you can raise and lower the shaft here. There's a screw here, and then this kind of pops out. And you can raise and lower that. You can raise and lower where the arm actually sits. So this bottom one is for the arm, which my screw just fell out, and I don't feel like putting it back together right this second. But essentially you would use, it has another pop like this, and you would pull that out, and then you'd be able to slide it. So, but we have it set where I need it. It's pretty funny too, because the instructions, they're like, don't be shy, tighten it very well as it should support your camera, something like that. They're basically telling you, like, if you don't tighten it enough and your camera falls off, we're not liable. That's basically what they're saying. All right, so we're tightening this back down. Too swole for the vest. Bro, I'm telling you, man. This is like one of the perks to keep working out if I'm gonna be supporting cameras like this. All right, so then this bottom one, like I said, this bottom pad goes across to the lower back, which I get this thing pretty tight because I do a lot of deadlifts. I don't know if y'all do deadlifts, but my lower back, it takes enough of beating. All right, if I can clip that. Hold on, we're almost there. We're almost there. There we go. All right, so we're fully vested up now. I actually didn't even talk about the balancing process. I'll leave this on and bring it back over and talk about it real quick. So I did this kind of quick, so I don't even know if it's fully balanced. Let's check. That's pretty close for my liking. 2 Mississippi, right? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Yeah, it's pretty close. It could stand to go up a little bit more. The way that I balance it is, like I said, I put my camera on and I balance it front and back first. Once I get it front and back, I then balance it left and right. So I just hold it here and let it go. And then if it leans, which I can't tell which way it's leaning yet. Let's see here. So if it leans, like say it leans to the left, I use the knob, which it is leaning to the left. Still leaning to the left. Okay, I think that's good there. It's pretty close. So yeah, then you just kind of fine tune it left and right. And then after that, I do the drop, which I think this is the right way that you're supposed to balance it. This is just how I do it. It works for me. So essentially you want it to be around 2 seconds before the bottom gets vertical. And so right now we're probably sitting at, let's see here, 1 Mississippi. It's kind of fast, to be honest. So essentially I would loosen this and raise it so that the counterweight isn't as low, which will cause it to drop faster. So if it's dropping too fast, you raise it. If it's dropping too slow, you lower it. And that you should be able to fine tune your drop speed so that it actually hits right around 2 seconds. This to me feels a little bit too fast. So if I was getting ready to film, I would unscrew it here and raise it. But since this is just YouTube and I'm just talking about it, we're gonna pretend like it's perfectly balanced. How'd that sound? All right. One thing I forgot to mention too was, where's that at? One thing I forgot to mention too, and I think I did actually, is that it comes with a monitor mount. There was something else I was gonna say. And I was talking about the drop, that monitor mount. Hopefully it comes back to me. I think it was important to note. But All right, I guess, I don't know. Oh, here we go. So it doesn't come with this plate, which is how you mount it. Technically, it's supposed to look like this, and it goes on the end, and then the arm goes on the other side. But since I'm just using like a little light stand, I don't trust it, so I put it directly, I put all the weight right in the middle on the stand, and then I just mount up with the vest separately. But if I had like a C-stand, which my lights are on right now, I would use the C-stand just because it's all metal, and there's not gonna be, like, you can already tell how it's leaning. So I don't think the stand honestly likes supporting this type of weight, especially on one side. So, but it's the best I had, and it's the lowest one that I have. So there's that. All right, now we're gonna throw on the arm, show y'all how that goes. So the arm just has 2 screws, and it literally slides in. Be careful if you get one, because I done pinched my hand like 3 times trying to do this. But essentially on the side here, it has these 2 screws that push down and screw in. You just put the bottom of the arm in there. There's only one way that it'll go, which obviously the arm goes out. So then you press down the pins and screw them in. And again, screw them in nice and tight, because it's about to hold and support the weight there. How does your lower back feel after an hour plus, Ursa? So my lower back, I don't know when you dropped that comment, if I already said it, because I know I did a little bit ago. But when I did the live stream last Friday with this setup, I wore it for about an hour and a half. My lower back was sore, but scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably say it was like a 4. My shoulders, because of this padding, was like, oh my God, it hurt like easy 10. It was crazy. It was to a point where like I had to stay like this. I couldn't like lower my arms. I was just like, you know. All right, so there's the arm. Again, it just goes on there like that, and then you drop, essentially, you just drop the camera right on the pin, and then there you go. Now, I'm not that ballsy to let go of everything, so I'll hold the arm and just let this float. This is also how I check balance, which right now you can see I'm kind of front heavy. But again, this is YouTube, so we're gonna pretend like I am balanced. The way that I walk with it, which I think this is the right way to do it, is I bring it all the way across me right here. So right here, standing here, which I'm probably out of focus, but I feel the weight on the left side, so like my left hip, but I also feel it kind of on the right. So it's not like I feel like I'm leaning or anything like that, but I definitely notice the weight is there. But I'm not carrying any weight in my arms. Like, I am completely unflexed, just relaxing. My arm literally is just to hold it, because if I let it go, it kind of springs out, and I don't like that. So I hold it. You feel that resistance, which is another thing that I really like about the arm. You can feel that little spring. It's not enough to like mess up your shot, but you feel it. Like, you notice that you're being supported, you know, I should say. So you can feel that the arm is actually supporting the weight. Another thing is, like, when you move, like, this is what I was saying, like, that's crazy. Like, it's trippy, because like all of this is moving crazy, and then the camera, I feel like I'm doing a whole workout. The camera just kind of sits and floats there. So I keep bumping it. That's why it's swaying. But again, it's not perfectly balanced either. But yeah, so as I walk with it, so the biggest thing that I'm trying to practice, let me kick these sandals off. The biggest thing I'm trying to practice is keeping my horizon straight, which I think is like every beginner's like issue. But trying to keep my horizon straight and not worry so much about, because I get stuck looking at the camera and not my monitor, which is another adjustment, because when I'm running with the gimbal, I'm so used to just looking directly at the camera or looking at my shot, you know, where in this case, the monitor is lower. So normally I'd look here. If I was on a gimbal, my monitor would be somewhere in this vicinity, but since it's lower, I literally have to look down. So it's almost hard, because if you're walking, you gotta look down at your shot, look up, make sure you're not gonna run into something. So it's a huge learning curve, I'll be honest. So other than that, let's cut the monitor on so I can actually see what it is I'm doing. Oh, I don't have the cables hooked up. Look at that. It's okay. It's okay. I'm new, y'all. This is my first live stream. Don't at me. But yeah, that's it. That's basically it. You know, the Flycam Zest, fully supporting the Ursa Mini Pro with a wireless follow focus, the wireless transmitter, V-mount battery. You know, I even still have the handle to the camera on, so it's balanced with the handle, which I think that's a huge thing to point out, because essentially you don't have to tear down the camera just to mount it to this. You can mount it as is. My top handle's on there. I mean, it's ready to go. If I wanted to pop this off and go handheld, I'm ready to go. I don't have to go grab other things and reattach it to this. I can just pop it off and start and keep shooting. So, which is huge. You need something that's fast paced like that if you're in fast run and gun situations. But I think that's it, y'all. I mean, that's really all I got. I'm over here getting out of breath just holding this thing. But yeah, you see, I don't know how well y'all can see that with the quality. Can this go back anymore? So again, I do want to mention this real fast, the little knobs here. So like right now, if you notice where it sits, it kind of rests like right here, which I like that spot. But you can loosen and tighten these knobs so that it actually, so you see it getting higher now. So it's actually raising it. It's adding tension to the arm here so that now it rests up higher, which to me, I don't like that because that's too high for most of the things that I shoot. I need it about right here. But here, I'm like literally like pressing down on the arm. Like I actually have to apply pressure to keep it there. So I keep it nice and loose up here and tight at the bottom. But that'll take some getting used to. Again, if you get one, you'll want to play around with that just to see what works best for you. There we go. But yeah, I think that's it, y'all. If y'all got any questions about this setup, I think this worked out better than just making a separate YouTube video. I'm still gonna make a YouTube video on the lenses to show you guys like comparison footage and just, you know, my overall thoughts on the lenses. But I think if you have a big camera package, I know there's a lot that came out last year. We got what? The Canon C70, the Ursa 12K, the pockets. I know a lot of people with pocket cinema cameras that have them fully rigged out. I mean, to the size of an Ursa, if not bigger. You know, you got a lot of the Red Komodo fully rigged out, the Z cams. So there's a lot of cameras out there that, there we go, that you probably want to fly. FX6, this, I love it. Oh, one big thing about this compared to the gimbal. So the gimbals have that like motorized jerk. And what I mean by that is if you don't set your deadband on your gimbal, you'll have like a shot that's nice and smooth and then it like jerks because you're like moving and it finally catches up to where you're at. With this, once you get good, you don't have that. It really feels different. The footage, it feels like a different type of smooth. If I don't know if that even made sense, but essentially there's not like a lot of like, there's no pull. Like you don't feel like you're being pulled in the shot, like from motors or something like that catching up. So it literally just floats everywhere you go. If you're walking, if you're, you know, panning, if you're doing tracking shots or something like that, it literally just floats. And that's like the best thing to me. I noticed it right away when doing the dance videos that it just had a better overall like smoothness. It looked completely different than if I used a gimbal. Let's take this bad boy off. But that's it. I think, I know this is short notice, so I appreciate everybody that hopped on here and watched with me and kind of like had a little conversation with me, chatted with me a little bit. That's it. That's it. I'm just keep saying that's it and hang up. But yeah, no, for real, that is it. I'm probably gonna do this more because I really like it, but I'll plan it and have it 10 times better where I'm not using this so I can have like multi-angles, throw like a camera on the slider over here. Like we're gonna do some next level like video stuff in here when I go live again. So y'all be ready for that. But yeah, that's it. Other than that, y'all, I will see y'all in the next one. Oh, make sure y'all like and subscribe because that just helps the channel.